Welcome to the Ideal Investor Show. Join us on the journey to financial success. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ideal Investor Show. I want to get the public announcement, so to speak, out of the way first. So if you are interested to have a conversation to, for example, talk about get access to our online video course about Abundant Money Mindset program, one is to go to substack.com, establish a free account, and then find Ideal Wealth Grower. Or you go to idealwealthgrower.com and you find the button that says Discovery Call, and you set up a call with me, and then we have a conversation. We can discuss what the best option for all the different things we offer, exactly the right one for you. So today, the topic of today's episode is the role of big data in property investment decisions. And let me first describe real quick what the term big data actually means. And big data actually comes from the software world and from the analytical world. And it is originally a term that was used to analyze huge volumes of data to identify general trends. So what would be an example? If you had a couple million people in a certain age range, and you had their medical data to analyze how many of these, let's say 5 million people in the age range between 20 and 30, show certain illnesses or initial precursors for those illnesses, then there might be a possibility to say, let's research what leads for this particular age range to be particularly vulnerable to a certain illness. And as they basically can do analysis on this huge data set, you can be very specific in your solution. Now, how does this apply to real estate? One thing we all know is that when you work in that field of real estate that we are all in, then you know that the valuation of the property has to do with what is the value, meaning like how much price has similar property in the immediate area around your property that you are potentially interested to buying, been able to get. What does that mean? If you are looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, and it is on the market for $175,000, then an appraisal traditionally would go and say, okay, let's look at how many similar 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses within about a 1 mile to 1.5 mile radius around this particular house have sold for what price. And yes, there are a few little adjustments that an appraiser does, but the end result would be to say, yes, this house is worth 180,000 based on comparative analysis, or 175,000, or maybe 170,000. And whatever the appraiser comes up with is then the amount that you can get financing for. Now imagine you could increase that data set massively. You could look at the whole state, or let's say you could look at the whole United States, look at all 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses in that price range and analyze what do they have that increase the price, what do they have that decreases the price, which ones are in similar crime rate areas, similar school district quality areas, similar shopping, similar commute, similar public transportation, and on and on and on. You can imagine that that gets to a huge set of data. And the real cool thing that is coming is that more and more capable computers, artificial intelligence systems, can go through this data in a reasonable amount of time for a reasonable amount of money. So that sooner or later, not quite yet, but sooner or later, we will get to a point where if you say, I am willing to spend $175,000 on a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and I want to find one that gets $1,800 in rent, and I like it to be in such a school district and such a shopping district and such a public transportation area and so forth, you can make a long list of criteria. and then let the artificial intelligence run that whole set of criteria against a massive, massive amount of data to spit out where are those properties in the whole United States that actually meet your criteria. And that will be a totally new ball game compared to what we're used to right now, where we get an appraisal for a small little area, and we have to do, even though using modern tools, but we have to figure out which property are we interested in, and only then are we going to look at what is the value, what is the price, what can we get financing to. So big data analysis and artificial intelligence being able to run through this huge amount of data very, very fast will make it much, much more interesting to find exactly the kind of property for exactly the kind of price that we're willing to pay as an investment. And that, to close out today's episode, also means who is going to have the first mover advantage, because those people who get access to these AI tools and who can actually benefit from them, those people will get the better deals compared to anybody who doesn't have access or isn't even aware. So that's fundamentally the promise that is coming from that. I'm excited to get there. So I hope we will see that capability from some AI system that somebody develops specifically for the real estate market. And I'm pretty sure that people are already working on it. So again, quick reminder, please connect to us through Substack, as I mentioned at the beginning. And other than that, be well and stay safe, and I talk to you tomorrow.